Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.
Has Giga Berlin hit volume production already, before even delivering vehicles for a full month? No, of course not. That would be insane. No BEV manufacturer, aside from Tesla, has even hit volume production. So how could Tesla ever be at volume production in just weeks? I know we have a lot of theories about Tesla potentially sandbagging the output of these factories, and accompanied with a bit of evidence too at times, but Berlin hitting volume production this early on has got to be nonsense. It's going to take all year for Tesla to ramp up these new factories. It took Shanghai about 8 months until it reached volume production with the Model Y, so how could anyone possibly be thinking that Tesla are close to volume production for Berlin already? Well, according to the YouTuber Tobias Lint, he has recorded Model Ys leaving the factory at a rate of 1 every 2.5 minutes. Now that may not sound as fast as what we were told Berlin is capable of, with one Model Y at every 45 seconds, but like I said, it hasn't been a month. Now, for some reason, some people reporting on this claim that this comes to 1,000 units a week. I'm not quite sure how they're arriving at that number, but if we don't include any downtime, the math works out different for me. If there's one car being produced every 2.5 minutes, then that would come to 24 every hour. 60 divided by 2.5 is 24. Then there are 24 hours a day, which would mean 576 vehicles a day. In a 30-day month, then that would be a total of 17,000, which, okay, is slightly under volume production, but still very close. And besides, once again, it hasn't been operational yet for a month. Now, obviously this is not including downtime, and assuming a 24-hour, 7-day operation, we don't even know if Tesla have enough components to keep going at that rate, but that doesn't concern me as much at the moment. I think look at the big picture here. The fact that Tesla were able to hit this level of production this quickly is just phenomenal. Either way, it's actually somewhat moot as to how many total vehicles are coming off the line, as we know there are other constraints at play as to how many vehicles Tesla can make. What we really care about here is how fast Tesla have increased their run rate at the new factory with the new processors. Sure, Tesla have had several months to try and perfect the production line as much as they could whilst they were waiting for approval to open the factory officially, but I think Tesla only produced about 300 test Model Ys in that period, of which they're supposedly not even allowed to sell. That's not a lot of testing. There are also reports of panel gaps in the new Berlin models. That is something that can occur when Tesla are ramping up their production speed. Wow, I'm probably the only person who can spin panel gaps into a positive. We're told that chip shortages are going to create constraints in production, but we don't really know to what level this applies, as we've not been told how many cars Tesla have enough chips for this year. We can, however, get a rough idea of how many batteries Berlin might have available. Berlin appears to still only be producing Model Y Performance, and perhaps they will eventually start producing the long-range version there too. Either way, the two models both use 2170 batteries, and the same battery pack size. The batteries are coming from LG in Korea, and I would guess that they supply around 20 gigawatt hours a year. That would be enough batteries for almost exactly 20,000 Model Ys a month. So if Tesla can reach volume production, there should be enough batteries available. We were told by Elon that Berlin wouldn't hit volume production until the end of this year. This is a massive discrepancy. And okay, it's not as if Tesla actually have made this many cars in a month yet, but the fact it may already be possible is mind-blowing. Maybe they can actually hit volume production next month though. Hitting volume production is important. It's how you achieve economies of scale, and aside from getting battery costs down, it's the other major element for making a profit manufacturing EVs. Obviously, aside from not having unions or car dealerships too, all of that also heavily reduces any chance for a BEV company to make a profit. Fortunately for us, that's not the case with Tesla. This Berlin factory is not going to be the cheapest to run, especially given how much power costs in Germany too. There's a lot of capex to recover in this building. If you can make twice as many cars from the same factory, then those costs remain the same and become half as much per vehicle produced. This is just another reason as to why volume production is so important, especially when you have massive overheads. It would appear all the competition have even larger capex expenses, higher running costs, and of course can't hit volume production. It's a real dilemma for them. Yeah, we really don't need to worry about the competition overly. I mainly just like to research them these days to get an idea of just how far ahead Tesla is and how truly incredible their engineering is, rather than researching the competition as to whether they have a chance of catching up to Tesla. They don't, and with factories and new processes like this, they have even less. Some people think I'm being arrogant or complacent or just a delusional fanboy, but this is what all the research keeps telling me. But I'm sure I'll get the odd comment of something like someone informing me that the Hyundai Ioniq 5 costs less than the Model Y, as if it means something. Surely Tesla have learned so much from Shanghai that we would have expected this factory to have ramped up a lot faster due to all this extra experience they now have. But not only that, we have new manufacturing techniques. Well, mainly the front die-cast mold. It doesn't appear that they're using the cell-to-vehicle integration in Berlin yet. But still, just the front mold is saving about another 300 robots or so, and so many additional processes and parts. It makes a difference. Also, Tesla no doubt learned everything they could from Chinese manufacturing, including setting up a lab to research further. Well, the Germans also have a lot to offer in the way of manufacturing and engineering too, and especially when it comes to vehicles. Tesla are able to collaborate on all the knowledge of each nation on manufacturing and take the best of it all. It would be amazing if they also got to learn from Japan one day too and set up a factory there. So are we once again being sandbagged? What sort of speed could we actually expect these vehicles to come off the line with all the new manufacturing processes? We've witnessed them come off the line in Shanghai in just over half a minute. Shouldn't we expect this even more state-of-the-art facility to be even faster? I would. Then what does that mean for the capacity? Well, I've done models comparing it with Shanghai Model Y facility and estimate between 1.5 and 2 million in the existing fab alone. Sure, this may not be until we're manufacturing with 4680 structural battery packs. I know, the most important thing in Tesla's future is the progress we get with the 4680 batteries, but it's also interesting to see the level as to which Tesla are capable of ramping up these new factories. I do keep saying that Tesla are not manufacturing constrained, they're battery and chip constrained, and hopefully just battery constrained by the end of this year. This is also the same for Shanghai. It's not great that we are hearing that Shanghai might now be shut down for almost half of April, but will this affect Tesla's production for the year? Well, if they are still making chips, then when they reopen, there's a good chance Tesla can ramp up their production faster to pick up the slack. However, it's also likely that CATL's new battery factory is not operational either, which means Tesla will have fewer batteries available, although it might not make much difference due to the chip bottleneck. But in the long run, fewer batteries will also mean fewer vehicles made. However, some of these spare components may well be used in Berlin now too. It really is great having multiple factories in different locations for diversification. But hopefully this shutdown is quite inconsequential as soon as the global battery supply becomes dwarfed by the rate at which Tesla can produce 4680 batteries. I don't make videos like this to try and pump the stock, it's more me trying to investigate what is actually happening in the company, as I feel there is somewhat of a disconnect between what we are told and what Tesla are actually doing. We've seen it and witnessed it in the past, and I'm not just making things up. I think Elon is keeping his cards close to his chest at the moment. I'm merely trying to take a peek as best I can, and I think I might have spotted an ace. Either way, if Tesla have hit a run rate of a new car every 2.5 minutes already, then it's absolutely mind-blowing. Even if they only maintained that rate temporarily, it's still an incredible sign. Just imagine if they're also able to produce 4680 batteries at insane rates to match their vehicle manufacturing. The numbers aren't adding up everywhere. I also think I've come up with a theory on how to estimate the run rate of the 4680 factory in Texas too. I just need to wait until I feel better. I swear, I feel like I've dropped about 20 IQ points lately. Can't wait to get back to normal and start doing some serious financials. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.